Here we are.
Hi.
Hi there. We are on our Wednesday netcast live stream. We'll be talking about VUCA,
Favorite subject.
one of our favorite subjects, and we will be right with you. And that's what we say, we are in this together. And our dear friend Elliot Lewis, who created that clip, has wonderful music to keep everybody together.
He's going to be visiting again here in Ohio this next month.
Yeah, he'll be joining us soon. So we're looking forward to seeing him then. So we are Dave and Laura Butler of WorkLife Consulting. Thank you for joining us, either live or as a recording. We have been partners in this journey of work-life consulting, work and life, over 30 years. And we provide customized online coaching programs that help individuals, teams, and leaders achieve greater fulfillment in their lives. Our services are tailored to fit your unique needs and include individual coaching, virtual workshops, and keynote content. So thank you again. If you're joining on a recording, just leave a message and say, hi, joining recording. It's always fun to know when people jump on or jump off. So our topic today is VUCA has not left the building. And this became, we've been talking about this forever. And those of you who know what VUCA means, I've heard over the past 18 months, once this term was used fairly frequently, people were like, I'm so done with hearing that. I'm so done hearing about complexity and uncertainty. Well, guess what? The other day, I attended, the 3 days, I attended a Institute of Coaching in Healthcare conference that's affiliated with McLean Hospital and Harvard Medical School in Boston. And one of the keynote presenters was Amy Edmondson, one of our favorite thought leaders. And she is known for her research and for popularizing the term psychological safety. And she started the whole presentation off by basically saying, VUCA has not left the building. And, to all of you and ourselves included, who we may be done and aren't we moving on from this? We are not. The world is still in the state of confusion, complexity. The words that VUCA stands for, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, now more than ever.
And I was just talking with you before we got online here about the fact that the original word and the concepts and the rest of it comes out of work that the Army had done for many years with scenario planning, trying to be ready for different kinds of altercations that they had to go and deal with. And the whole notion of VUCA came out of the armed forces. They still use it as a part of scenario planning because everything has become more VUCA as time is going on. And although it would be nice to think that it's going to go away, it's not going to go away. It may change, it may morph, it may become other things, but it's basically probably here to stay for quite a while.
Well, yes, absolutely. And I think it will morph. It's how we, if you look at how this whole thing started 18 months ago, there was almost like an embracing of VUCA because it gave us some way to describe all of the fear that was
trying to get some sort of concept in place to be able to even understand the breadth of what's going on.
Well, now, 18 plus months in, I love this. This is what you always say. It's like PTSD-like symptoms.
Yeah, there's not to make light of PTSD that comes from war. But it occurred to me the other day. What's that?
Tragedy of some sort that's created.
Tragedy. I mean, death in the family, major trauma, somebody's house burns down. I mean, PTSD is more than just in the armed services. It's what everybody experiences to some extent after any kind of traumatic event. And one of the things that I remembered, I recalled in our last course that we did on mastering your emotions, one of our attendees actually had been in Iraq and talked about how so much of what we were talking about was part of the treatment that he had received for PTSD.
Right. Well, it becomes
emotional
hijack.
Yeah, it's been I've been thinking about it since then, because it seems like life has become like war. I mean, every day it's a war of the virus, the war of the masks, the war of the great resignation this year. I mean, everybody changing, the whole world is shifting. It seems like there's nothing but war.
Right. Well, and the other thing that you look at this in terms of leadership and organizational needs, the opportunities, if you look at this in a different lens, puts the employee in charge. Because the employee is the one who's saying, if there's anything I've learned, from these past 18 months, it's the ability for me to take charge. So we put together some, and this is all a follow-up from our emotional mastery program, which we will be relaunching in the coming weeks, because we still feel that this is so important that people get this support. But recommendations, what's that?
It's needed.
Yeah. On how to manage. So, okay, we say what VUCA is, the volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity world. But, one of the other things that I love is a graphic that you've chosen, which is Godzilla, the dinosaur emerging from, it's all this, the fear of all that uncertainty. This big monster is coming down and, descending on us all.
Yeah.
So what we can do is kind of step away from this metaphorical monster and insinuate some patience.
Well, I think patience has become not only a virtue, it's become just a necessity with every day. I know I experience it with trying to get the technology up and running, trying to get things done, trying to go and find the things that we need to have to be able to run the business. It just seems that everything is much harder than it has ever been. So if we can't learn to grow our patience, we just become impatient with life. We become impatient with everybody else. Become impatient with myself. It just seems to me like that's one of the first steps towards dealing with the VUCA world is to be patient.
Absolutely. And step 2 is to create that willingness to ask for help. And an example of that is I'm having some issues talk about technology with my computer. And, to be able to step back and just take a few moments and say, okay, well, I don't want to stop and get it looked at or call up Geek Squad or whoever, because that's going to take time away from the work that I'm doing. And the reality is that the computer not working is taking away from finishing things. So, it becomes a spiral of discomfort. So it's a willingness to say, okay, let me go on the chat and make this work.
I'm finding it a lot more inside of organizations as well, is that people have just got to be open to asking for help and offering help. There's just too much going on. You can't be everywhere doing everything all the time. Right. So somebody needs to be able to help you.
And the third, I think this is one of the most important. And there are many others, but for the sake of time, we just chose 3 that we think are really valuable. And what this means is organizationally, if you are a leader, or you are somebody who impacts others, whether it's a peer, it's a cross-functional organizational connection, whatever it is, ask that other person, how are you? Because how are you doing? The assumption is, well, we're beyond that VUCA stuff now. Let's get back to the way things were.
Yeah, let's get back up to speed. Let's get going now. Come on.
Newsflash, not happening.
I was talking with one of our clients today, and she was talking about her team, and she said, I sit here and I think about what we've been through in the last year and a half as a team, as an organization in that particular company. And I think it's true everywhere. If you really take a moment and take a breath and look back at what we've all been through in the last year and a half, it's frightening to realize, that we're still trying to recover from it.
So again, we are Dave and Laura Butler. If you're joining us on the replay, happy you're here, and we're talking about VUCA. So how important it is to identify and explore further in these ongoing uncertain times. But I think what this also allows us to do is to use these times to explore this big reset, you like to call it.
Yeah. I hear everybody talking about the year of resignation.
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be a year of recovery or more. There's going to be a big reset, as well as the big retreat in the last year. The big reset has tons of opportunities in there. I mean, I don't even know where to start. When you think about it, there's so many places need help, so many people need help. How do we just find the time to even identify the opportunities? But there's going to be a lot of opportunities to learn and to grow and to find new ways to do things. I think there's going to be a lot of questioning of the old ways that are starting to fall aside.
Absolutely. And what we recommend that people do is, you'll see scrolling on the bottom here, is schedule a time to talk. We can help you kind of sort this out and see if you're, sometimes it's a good check-in to get the validation that you're doing a great job. Other times it's still the validation, but you may need some support and coaching and to get this reset cooking for yourselves. So you can also just visit our website, which is www.worklifeonline.com, and we'd be happy to help. So any closing thoughts for today?
Well, I like what you just said about being willing to take the time to recognize, what has been accomplished and what you had, not only what you've been through, but how well you've managed to get through it. I think you personally, I think you've done a wonderful job getting us to where we are right now. So it's easy to overlook it on a daily basis. You're just so rushed to try and do everything. But I think it's important to be able to say, thank you.
Yeah, to one another, that we help each other. We reach out and we step back, take a breath. I love the Calm app that I have at midnight every night. I get breathe, or it's just some quick message. It's extremely valuable. So thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. We're here every Wednesday at 4:00 Eastern, and let us know what topics you'd like us to dive into. So thanks again for joining. Until next time.
Breathe.
And absolutely be sure and breathe.